It's okay. You know, we were talking many times, I mean, Gary and I talk about this, how people in the West are really, really frightened of dying. They don't even think about it. You know, most of the time they try and ignore the fact that they're going to get old and die. And I was saying to him that a lot of the time it causes a lot of problems for them as well as their families, because they are not prepared to die. So what did Baba say about death and dying?
Baba said death is the best thing that could ever happen to a human being. That because we leave this body and go in the eternity. And how Baba gave us an example that you wake up in the morning and you want to go to the loo and relieve yourself. When you go and relieve yourself, what feeling do you get? Baba, we feel very relieved when everything comes out. And so Baba said, it is the same thing with the body and the soul. When the body is dropped and the soul goes into eternity,
Goes back into Baba.
Yes. Then Eric's father had departed and he went back down to his father's funeral for the last time, and when he came back, he said to Eric that it is very simple, only we have that fear, but there is nothing to fear at all. My father always used to tell me that, Roshan, try and remember that every moment of your life you have to think that one time I have to depart from this world and I'll be standing in front of the Lord and He will be accounting for all that I have done all through my life. So we should live the life in such a way that we should not feel ashamed.
But didn't Baba say that there is no such thing as standing before the Lord and accounting? That basically the soul drops one body and then because of whatever the sanskaric patterns are from this life and previous lives, it gets another body in accordance with the sanskaric patterns.
Yes, Baba said that.
Baba said that.
Time to
yes.
time.
Most
of the time.
He always said that.
Yes.
He never said that there comes a time when you stand before God in judgment and all of that. That is more a Western concept, that you die, you go to God, you stand before Him, and then He decides whether you go to hell or heaven. Baba said there is no hell or heaven.
There is no hell or heaven.
It is up to you what you do in this life.
Yes.
And you can make it heaven or you can make it hell. The choice is yours.
Yes.
Baba has said that.
Yes.
He said there is no judgment as such. You are your own judge, because ultimately we are God unconscious. So when the body is dropped, then the soul goes back into
consciousness,
the supreme consciousness, and then comes out again when it has to have another body. But didn't Baba also say that for the soul, the body is like clothes, and how when the clothes get worn out, you take them off and throw them away and get new ones. It's exactly the same for the soul.
Correct. And because Sam's mother also had a great fear of dying.
You know, there was a story about her. Baba once told her July end and everything end, and she immediately interpreted it to mean that she was going to die in July. So my grandmother would get sick from June onwards. She'd start getting ill and she would really, really make herself sick. And then when July was gone, she was fine, because July had finished and she hadn't died. But then she died in February. She died on Baba's birthday in 1996.
No, not
1996, of course she died in 1996. I was there. She died same year as Mani Aunty. She died in February, Mani Aunty died in August.
90s.
Yeah. Gai Mama died in 93. 93, yeah.
No, Gai Mama came here and then.
That's right, so they came here in 1990. And then she stayed for two and a half years in Meherabad, and she died on the 23rd of June. It's coming up.
Yes. So, my mother-in-law, when it was her last time, means on the 25th of February.
24th night.
Huh?
24th night. She died early in the morning.
Yes, she died at 3:30 in the morning.
2:30.
So, she was holding tight to me. Roshan, I'm afraid. I said, Mama, Baba is right in front of you and he's waiting to take you with him. Why are you afraid? Go. He's there, Mama. And she actually had her ulcers burst for the last time. And then she said, I want to sit on the potty, I want to relieve myself. So myself and the servant, we put her on the potty. She relieved herself and she did not have any pain or anything.
She just died.
She relieved herself. Then I made her comfortable on the bed.
Yeah.
And Dr. Ann was sitting next to her. Dr. Ann had already told me that she's on the verge of going. So Mummy was holding me tight and I was relieving her. Mummy, let go. Mummy, let go. Don't be afraid. Baba is there. See, Baba is there. And
But actually she was very lucky. She had everybody around her. I was there.
Dr. Ann was
Dolly
there.
was there. My dad, my uncle.
No, but all of a sudden, I had noticed that Daddy had fallen fast asleep.
No, he was there at the end.
But he was there, but he was fast asleep.
No, but he was standing there at the end. He was very much there.
Towards the absolutely till
When
last
she started that last death rattle,
Yes.
he was there, very much there.
There he was. We were all there and she was very happy.
Because it was Baba's birthday, so we had all come.
We were all anxious to go for Baba's 5 o'clock prayers and all that. And she had a real nice funeral. Everybody
came.
was in a very joyful mood. Lot of Baba lovers sang Baba songs and lovely songs at her funeral.
And everybody from Meherabad also came.
Yes.
Mani, who was
Baba's
herself, Baba's sister, who was herself very ill with cancer, she was there. She came, Meheraj came, everybody from Meherabad, because they were going to come anyway for Baba's birthday. And so they just came earlier, visited her in Old Mandli Hall, where she had been laid out and people were coming to bow down for the last time. And then they cremated her in the evening. And there was singing almost late into the night, people were singing.
Yes. So actually there is nothing to fear for our departure from this world. This body is worn out and we need to have a new body and new life to start living again.
I think it's because Christianity believes that this is your one and only life, and if you don't do well in this life, you'll go to hell.
Yes.
They're very frightened of that whole judgment thing.
They have been given wrong
Well, it's their belief.
So now Baba people who are about to leave this world are not afraid of
Well,
leaving this world
a lot of
that
people are
badly.
still afraid. You know, reading what Baba has said and believing it deep inside of you are two different things. But Eretz Mama used to always say that you should live every day as if you're going to die in the night. And that way, you will not leave things unfinished. And the night before he died, he went around and he visited everybody who had been there for him and thanked them. You know, he came and said to Meherabad, he said, "You are the best brother that I could have ever wished for. Thank you." And he said the same to Manu. He said, "You are a wonderful sister." And they didn't actually think that he was going to die that night. But he did ask me, he said, "Do you think I'll ever see my 85th birthday?" And he was only a few days short of the 85th birthday. And I said, "Who knows, if Baba wants you to, you might." And he said, no, I think the astrologer was right. I don't think I will see my 85th birthday. Because apparently when they done his birth chart, the astrologer had said he didn't have the 85th year in his horoscope. And he made sure that he squared everything away, thanked people, sent a message to Craig Ruff, who was in the States, to say that he missed him, which meant a lot to Craig. He died the way people should die, with no fear, no nothing, just Baba's name on his lips. That was the end.
But he said something to Katie.
Yeah, he said, "Jai Baba Katie." As she walked in through the door, he turned around, he looked at her and he said, "Jai Baba Katie." And then he just said,
And
"Oh Baba," and that was it.
And he was gone.
He didn't actually go very, his eyes died, he died, you can see his eyes had gone still, but his heart was still beating, and his life went out through his feet. Because I was massaging his feet when he died. His life went out through his feet. They were the last to get still.
I see.
Whereas with his sister, it went out through her head. Because she could tell that her feet had become cold, and then her knees and everything.
Janet Luck, one of my friends who had cancer for a very long time, and I stayed with her for 1 month, whole month in the United States, Myrtle Beach. Her husband had gone on some work, and he requested me to be with her for 1 month. So she also had the fear of death. So the best thing I did to her was, actually she was so much feared that all the time used to twitch. She would feel that something is behind her or after her. And then I told her, "There is nothing there, darling. Oh, come on, let's sing Baba songs." She had a very beautiful voice.
Baba's Nightingale.
Yes. And she used to sing Jutika Roy's bhajans. And I also knew all those songs, so I used to sing with her. And for the whole month, I took care of her like my own daughter. I used to cook for her, I used to make her drink her things, which she did not want to do it because of her illness. And then I said, but she had an intention that before she leaves this world, she wants to go and bow down to Baba's Samadhi. That was her ambition. And I said, if you want to do that, you will have to obey what I am telling you to do. If you are ready to do that, Baba will see to it that you go through this heavy period of yours and you will be cured for the time you want to go to Meherabad and bow down. So she was not able to do anything in the house. All of a sudden, she started taking interest in eating, doing what I told her to do. I used to massage her. I used to even give her bath. I used to nurse her like my child. And I would tell her Baba stories. She would tell me her experience, how she felt about beloved Baba, because her husband was also a Baba lover. And we knew them from when they were very, very young children. Yes. And she became so fine that every month she had to go to see the doctor in the United States about her checkup, and she started driving the car, which she had not done for a very, very long time.
No, I'm going to sit out of the camera for a bit.
And she took me with her to the doctor's place. Doctor checked her. They did whatever the test that needed to be done. The first thing he told her to stand on the scale. And she was all the time very low in weight. She was only 90 pounds. And when she stood on that day on the scale, all of a sudden she was 120 pounds. Just in 1 month's time. So doctor asked her, what have you done to yourself? How come all of a sudden your weight has gained? I was sitting in the waiting room. She held the doctor's hand and she walked out into that lounge where the rest of the people were sitting. She came and stood with her doctor in front of me, and I was looking at the doctor while this doctor has come out to see me. So she tells him, you see this lady, she is from India. She has come and stayed with me for the last whole month. And she makes me do everything that she wants her way. Because I want to go and bow down to Baba's Samadhi, and she says, I will be able to do. So I am doing just what she tells me to do. I am no more afraid of dying, which she was, because she was on the last cancer stage. And every night when I used to make her go to sleep, I would sing to her like we sing to the little baby, and she was very, very happy. And then when she used to fall asleep, then I would go in my room and go to sleep. And she became very fine, and she came to India for 1 month with one doctor with her. The best thing was that when they arrived, I went to see them at their hotel, and the first thing I see is she was well, but her doctor was very, very badly sick. Doctor was having stomach upset.
Food poisoning.
Food poisoning. And then she took care of the doctor for the whole month till she went back to America. Her doctor never got better with any treatment. She was a chiropractor. And she went to America, and after a few months she passed away. But they said that her last days were not painful,
Peaceful.
very peaceful. She had become so mentally strong that she was ready to go to Baba. I told her, Baba will be waiting for you. You will see Baba, and if you keep repeating his name, it will be very, very easy to leave this body and let your soul go to him.
What
So
do you believe about time?
There are very few people who had come into the contact with Meher Baba who has been told not to be afraid of death, because death is like one. Baba used to ask us, do you like to wear new clothes? Oh, everybody said we love having new clothes. So Baba said, to leave this body and wear a new dress, how you feel happy. It's just like that. There is nothing to fear for the death, because you don't immediately get into a new body. You get into some mother's womb, and then...
But you have time. Some people take a lot of time between incarnations. It's not like you die today and tomorrow you're incarnated again. You know, you go through a period of being free of a body as well.
Yes, it is according to our own sanskaras that we go through all these things.
And you're born where you're born at random. You know, your soul selects. Your soul selects the next life based upon what they have done and or not done in this life. So it's not a random process. It's not like you go to any family or any womb or whatever. You go where you're meant to go.
The only thing I would like to say is we should not fear the death. And we should be always prepared that one day we have to go happily.
I mean, scientifically, you start dying from the second that you're born. Your body starts dying from that point onwards, even though you're growing and everything else. Aging is a progression towards death, and that is certain. Nobody is going to live forever.
Yes.
And yet, people try and forget the fact that they are dying and live as if they're going to be immortal, which is why when the time comes, they are so frightened, because they've not done what they should do to prepare for death.
Anyway, so actually, beloved Baba used to be in our family most of the time in Pune when I was a young girl. He used to come to house which was called Bindra House, which was Brother Erich's family used to stay. Baba had ordered me to stay with that family from the age of 15. Baba said, you come and stay here, I will be coming often and you will be able to have my service whenever I come there. So, I had lots and lots of opportunities. Baba used to come with intoxicated people. Must. Baba used to call them must. They used to be intoxicated in God. And the only thing they used to see was God everywhere. And their behavior was not like a normal person. Somebody would feel that they are mentally ill, but they were not mentally ill. They were advanced souls. We cannot make out the difference between an advanced soul or mentally ill person. And I remember once a young girl had come asking for food, and she had been just relieved from the Sassoon hospital after she had a very severe burns. She was well, and she was, I'm talking about cancer. So she had come to Vidra house asking for food, and Erich's mother was on the veranda. She called me and told me to go and get some food for her. Lucky for her, as I went in and brought her food in a plate to be delivered to her, beloved Baba's car arrives from the gate of Bindra house. He sees her and he was happy that we gave her the food. And while she was eating her food, Baba told the family that keep her as a servant in the house and don't ever throw her away, just like that. Take care of her till her last. So she was working from that day onwards till eventually she had become an old lady of nearly 75 or so, and then later on she had become mentally ill.
But she was always mentally ill, not later on.
No, that was because of her burns. She was behaving mentally ill like. That was because of her burns. They were so severe burns from neck till her knees. She was completely burnt. And when she had arrived, the burns were just healed. She had kleptomania. She had kleptomania.
I told you she had mental problems, right?
Yes.
Why is that?
And I treated her till her last, but just 15 days before she was to depart from this world, I had become exhausted taking care of her, so I had to put her into the mental hospital. And she passed away there. But she was like a little child. She was like a little child. Though she had never gone to the school, she was not even able to write a word. She was able to say beloved Baba's English prayers and aartis with us that we used to sing. And when she stayed with me, she used to say it so nicely, as if she knew English. And so what I want to say is that nobody should fear to have a fear of dying. It's the most happiest feeling that anybody will have when they have to depart from this world into the eternity. Jai Baba.